Hello, hi. My name is Zion, and I'll be walking you through a very short learning video actually on Microsoft Excel, Excel 2013 to be specific. If you are listening to me or just joining the class, basically what we'll be doing is to introduce the basics of the Excel environment and how it works. I want to assume you've pretty much heard about Excel, and if you have not, well, no problem. Let's continue. Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet program. A spreadsheet means you have rows, columns, and then you have data, and it facilitates arrangement, organizing, storage, and so many other activities that normally you do with data and information. Excel has a lot of advantages when working with data. If you work with data on a day-to-day basis, you have so many functions, features within the Excel program that aid how you relate with data. It's not so complicated as it might seem, probably looking at it on your computer screen. You have a lot of rows, cells, and so on. If you have basic computer knowledge, you will be able to use Excel and apply the features and the functions it has to offer to make your work and personal business much more easier, believe me. So let's go to our next slide. In this course, we'll be learning Microsoft Excel 2013. You have different versions of Excel from 2007, 2010, 2013, 2016. In each of these versions, the functions and the features remain the same. What you likely see will be, or what I'll call the difference in each version is that probably 2007 version in terms of the outlook, the interface, and the manner of display might be different from the different versions, which is expected as more versions or newer versions coming. You have better graphical displays, added formulas, added capabilities, functions, and so on. But the basic task and the basic ways of using Excel remains consistently the same throughout the different versions. So if you have probably Excel 2007, or even if it's Excel 2003, or you have a higher version to what I have on my screen here, I have Excel 2013, you don't have to bother yourself. It won't really pose a problem. The functions, the basic functions remains consistently the same, like I said earlier. Before we open our first Excel sheet, let me just chip this in that Excel is a software designed as a spreadsheet application for by Microsoft. Microsoft are the owners of the Windows operating system, and most likely that's what you have on what generally everyone's using. You also have other applications. The collective suite is actually Microsoft Office. Now, within the Microsoft Office, you have different applications. That's where you have your Microsoft Word, your PowerPoint, your Outlook, Microsoft Publisher, Access, and Excel itself. Now, we concentrate on Excel for the purpose of this study, but I just want to point out that when you open your Excel screen, the arrangement and the display is most likely what you see in other Microsoft applications, for instance Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, and so on. The sections may be slightly different in how they are being applied, but the graphical or the display remains basically the same. If you have Microsoft Excel installed on your system as a first time user, where likely you see the Excel program is in your programs at the program list of your PC. You see it within the Microsoft Office folder, and you see it alongside, arranged with other Microsoft applications which I mentioned earlier. It's also possible that on your screen you will have the Excel shortcut. Let me take you to my own screen, for instance. Under my start program, I'll go to all programs and then Microsoft Office. Now you can see I have Microsoft Office 2013, and there you can still access 2013 Excel, InfoPath, OneNote, Outlook, PowerPoint, Publisher, and so on. So all these are just part of the Microsoft Office family. So here we can click on Excel, which is this so when you click on your Excel program, this is how it's been displayed in Office 2013. If you have older versions of Excel, you likely might not see it being displayed this way, but let me just explain. It's similar. You have your Excel and then your recent files which probably you've worked on displayed, and then Excel shows you at the left right hand side of your screen. You can see I'm highlighting a blank workbook, and then you can see being highlighted here templates which are provided along with your Microsoft Office. On installation, Microsoft provides you this template which you can readily apply to whatever data you intend working on. But let's click on blank workbook. Now what I'm trying to say is this: whichever version of Excel you are making use of, if you intend to make use of a ready-made template, then you can select, and can also search for templates online. That's from the Microsoft Office store, and you can open your recent Excel files. We'll be opening a blank workbook as a first-time user, let's assume that, and so it's the same for whichever version. All you need to look out for is the blank workbook, and that's it. So this is Excel, and this is the Excel environment. Okay, on our Excel environment, this site looks like typically. This for Excel 2013. There are different sections, which each sections having different functions and probably sub functions working under each of them. Let's go to PowerPoint and just read our text, and then I'll explain this much more better. In an Excel environment, you have the ribbon. Under the ribbon, you have the tabs, the quick toolbar, the file menu, the spreadsheet window, the sheet tab. These are the major sections on your Excel interface. So back to Excel, let me explain each one by one. Here is the ribbon. It's more or less like the menu, but in Excel or any Office applications you make use of, it's called a ribbon. It displays the functions that you likely call up or the commands you'll be making use in working with your data. Under the ribbon, on the ribbon section, you have your home. You have different tabs. Like now, by default, when you open Excel, you are taken to the home tab, which is what I have here. You also have different tabs. You have the insert, you have the page layout, formula tab, data tab, review tab, view tab, add-ins, and this you might just ignore these other three ones. These were customized applications that were plugged in or plugins into my Excel file, Excel program. Now, this from view back to home remains consistently the same on any Excel program you open. Now back to our home, like I said, this is the ribbon. You can minimize or display the ribbon as you deem fit. As you can see at the right upper edge of your Excel page, you can see the collapse the ribbon, and that's it. My ribbon has been hidden. And if this simply gives you more room for your worksheets, it gives you more room for your worksheet. If you still need to make use of any of the functions under each of the tab, you simply click on it and your ribbon displays again. And so that's for the ribbon, and that's how it works. Now, our next section, or very important section, is the quick access toolbar. The quick access toolbar gives you affords you the ability to call up functions that you likely will be making use often. So you can add each of these functions to it. For instance, I added the sort ascending function, the quick print, the new, and you can see each of these functions displayed here, which means that if I'm working on my data, I can easily make use of this function instead of having to access it under the tab. Instead of accessing the sort and filter under the tab, I can easily come here and make use of it. So more or less like shortcut commands displayed where you can easily call them up without having to navigate within your ribbon. So that's for that. I'll delete this. Now you have the file menu. Now under the file menu, you have sub menus, which, as the name implies, for instance, under the info sub menu, I have the protect workbook, inspect workbook, versions, browser view options. This simply gives you information about your Excel file. And then you have the new, when in case you want to create a new Excel file. Open, if you want to open a previous Excel file you've worked on from different locations. The new Excel 2013 affords you the ability to save your files to different locations. OneDrive is owned by Microsoft. It's a cloud storage which you can save your files, which means that it's becomes accessible anywhere you have an internet connection. You can connect back to your file even if it's not physically saved on your computer, and then right there on your computer too. And you can also add another location. Under the file menu, you have the save, you have the save as, if you want to save your Excel file in another name or another format and still retain the existing file you're working on. Then that's where you see your print, your share, export, and then if you want to close out your Excel. So going now to go back to your Excel environment, you click on the back button, and that is it. And so that's that for the file menu. Our next point of call is our worksheet. This is where we input, we store, we analyze, and we work with data. You can see I can type into any of the cells here. I'm typing. The boxes you can see here are actually called cells. I can highlight, I can delete, I can pull, and a whole lot of other things I can do here. This is where you insert your data, you work with your data, you input your data, you sort and whatever you want to do using the functions within the ribbon. This is your worksheet. Now you can see at the top bar of your worksheet, you can see alphabet. The alphabets are headings for the row, for columns, sorry, for columns A, B, C, D, and it continues on and on like that. Now at the left hand side of your worksheet, you have numbers which are called headings for your rows. So this is a row and this is a column, and that is it. And so what you have is your cells, which are intersection, which is an intersection between a row and a column, and that's that. Now when I click on any cell, you notice something here. What is here? Changes dependent on which cell I click on. Now you can see it's more of a naming system or a nomenclature. What you have is column C, row 7, and that's how it works. So if I continue on and on, I'll see I'm on column AP, right, and row 8, and that is it. So your cells, each cell is an intersection of the row and the column. So it's, you can easily guess which particular cell by looking at the left hand name box over there. Over here is, here you have the function bar. It's actually used to describe or used to call up functions or formulas. We'll explain much of that in detail as we go deeper. Below our page, I'm going to delete it, sorry. Below our page, you can see my mouse cursor is on sheet. Now this is sheet 1. One advantage of Excel is the ability to have to arrange your data in what I'll call sections, but in Microsoft Excel it's actually called sheet, which means I have a sheet, I can create another sheet, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4, sheet 5, sheet 6. I can also name this sheet, right? I can name them. Let's call this introduction. sorry, I made a mistake in the spelling. That's it. I can name my sheets. I can name sheet 2 to advanced. My sheet 3 to basic, and that's it. So what you have is different sheets. For instance, just take a look. This is my name, Zion. In sheet 1 introduction, I go to advanced. You can see that what I have is a completely different sheet. Prince, and then basic, another different sheet all together. And so that's just a basic introduction to the Excel environment. I hope you understand quite much of what I've been saying so far. Thank you very much.